Welcome very much to everybody who's joined us tonight, both in person and online. I'm Professor Esther McIntosh. I'm the Director of the Centre for Religion and Society. This event today has been organised collaboratively by the Centre for Religion and Society, the Teaching and Learning Enhancement Team, the Institute for Social Justice, Living Lab, and others at York St John University, as well as in collaboration with Amos Trust. Some of you might be familiar with Amos Trust's motto, "We Do Hope," and its fantastic work for Palestine justice, which we've drawn on at previous events. Today we're here to mark International Women's Day, and we'll be hearing more about Amos Trust's work with female climate activists in the Global South. International Women's Day is on the 8th of March every year and celebrates achievements of women and draws attention to growing concerns as we strive towards ending gender inequality. Eco-feminist Vandana Shiva asserts that the liberation of the earth, the liberation of women, the liberation of all humanity is the next step of freedom we need to work for, and it's the next step of peace that we need to create. Climate change is a feminist issue. Women and girls are disproportionately affected by climate breakdown and forced migration. Latin America has become one of the most dangerous regions for defending land and environment. But women persevere in working towards social and ecological justice. And today we look forward to hearing from women based in Mexico and Central America who are all current participants on Amos Trust's Gender and Climate Fellowship. And I'm going to hand over to Alexia, who will give us a bit more information about the project and introduce those activists. After we've heard from the activists, they are on Zoom, zooming in from Mexico. After we've heard from the activists, we'll have time for Q&A, and then we will also have refreshments.
Well, Esther, thank you for this introduction, and thank you to the York St John University for creating this space for us to share with you today. My name is Alexia Lizarraga, and I am from the Climate Fellowship Manager in Amos Trust. For us, Amos Trust is a small, creative human rights organization. We say it, as Esther said, we do hope. This is our motto. And we do that working with individuals and local organizations and also communities that are in specific lands and territories that we recognize the knowledge and experience that the local people bring to those specific struggles. We have three main areas of work. We work for Palestine justice, street justice for women and girls, and climate justice. In this case, the Climate Fellowship is part of our climate justice programs. Last year, we launched our first cohort in Mexico and Central America. In this specific cohort, we are collaborating with 12 young women activists and land defenders of those specific areas, and they are developing projects addressing climate change with a gender perspective. And today, we are honored to have 3 participants of this fellowship with us. They are going to be sharing their projects and personal experiences and in their fight of climate action. So we have here today Lucia Xiu from Guatemala. Oh, they are going to be sharing on the screen. Yes. And also we have Maria Corona from Mexico. Well, Maria has a name. Is Maria there? And Guadalupe Banderas, also from Mexico. So they are going to be sharing their specific projects and also what they are experiencing in their specific fights for climate action. So thank you very much for being here and sharing with us. Very grateful for that. And well, also I want to introduce my colleague, Katie Higley, that she's here. She works in community engagement here in Amos Trust. Also, if you have more questions about our work in other areas such as Palestine justice or street justice, or you want more information in general, well, Katie is going to be here. Also, if you want to receive more information, you can give us your email and we can share some more information. And well, that's all from my side. But I will now like to hand over to Lucia to start the conversation today.
Hello, everyone. I am Lucia Chu. I just wanted to know if you can hear me. Zakari Wonohes, Lucia Chu Lenubi, Ina Chimek Inha, Bashik Ayala. Hello, everyone. I am Lucia Chu. I am indigenous Kiche woman. As the territory as we know today as Guatemala. I am indigenous land defender. I became for the highlands for the Mayan culture. I became for the heart of the Mayan culture, one of the most oldest and important indigenous civilizations all around the world. I became for the land who domesticate the corn. We create and we have a different relationship with the land, with the earth. Quiche in English, it means many trees, who is a very important thought for me to explain that I became from, because we recognize the trees as our ancestors. Today for me is very important, and I'm happy to be here to share. We cannot talk about women's liberation without the liberation of the earth. We are not the center, we are part of the web of life. The goal right now, as an indigenous woman who are organized in a different networks, is to change the way we look at things, to decolonize the way that we think. And for me, is one of the most important things that I want to share today, that I became. Right now I'm living in Mexico City because I'm on exile. Guatemala was a dictatorship, and a lot of young and land defenders as me are living persecution. At that moment, it's a difficult task to be a land defender in the Central America and also in the whole Abya Yala continent. And we recognize as an indigenous territories and names, because it's very important, when you called with a different languages or territories, is a way to change and to face, the name and the idea to rename our territories. Abyayala became from the Guna language, and is one of the most amazing territories who are living with autonomy right now. The situation for the indigenous peoples and the indigenous women in Guatemala, in Central America, is difficult, because we need to resolve the most basic things to can exist. We need to recover the land, because as the colony process, we have to face a lot of violence still today. And I always say, and I always tell, the colony process is not necessarily part of the past, it's part of the present, and continue to be part of the challenges that we have as indigenous women. We need more allies, and that's the reason that we are here, trying to create networks as land defenders as me. I'm part of a small collective, the name is Festivales Solidarios. We are artists, journalists, and we try to advocate and create content in the media, in the social media, to tell our own story, because we are the indigenous of the millennial century, and of course we have the commitment to tell our story with our own voice, because this is very important to decolonize the narratives and the stories as the towns of the people that we came from. And also, I'm very happy to be part of this fellowship, because I have the possibility to meet another amazing young advocates and activists in this side of the earth, and also to exchange the different realities of where we are facing and living in our territories. I just want to start with this, and I want to share the word and the speakers too. Thanks.
Hello, thank you for having me. Can you hear me? Yes, I wanted to show you a video while I talk to you because I like to be like accompanied by the some pictures that I think are very important to reflect this project that I'm gonna be talking about. Well, my name is Guadalupe. I am a Mexican woman who lives in Morelia. That is a small city in Michoacan state. It's like the south of Mexico, southeast Mexico. And I have been working with different collectives that fight against multiple environmental issues here in Morelia. So that was like one of my passions in life, but also there's another passion that I have, which is theater. And actually one specific theater, which is Teatro de las Oprimidas. That is how we call it in Spanish. In English, there is not a translation, like a specific translation for Teatro de las Oprimidas. There is only a translation for Theater of the Oppressed, but we do not like to use that name because the oppressed, it only considers like the figure of one person, one male person, and we actually work with a lot of different women, and a lot of different women created and documented this method that we use. That's why we call it Teatro de las Oprimidas. I apologize, my cat's now fighting. Sorry. Okay, so, well, my project was called, in English, we could call it like Gather Around to Strengthen Care Strategies in Groups that Take Action Against Social and Environmental Injustice from the Theater of the Oppressed, well, Teatro de las Oprimidas. And this idea came up actually when I was trying to match these two passions, the environmental fight or the environmental work and the theater Teatro de las Oprimidas. So when I saw this fellowship, I thought about this opportunity to match those two things that I was working on, and I thought it was very important for me to bring this Teatro de las Oprimidas as a tool for people that are working against the climate injustice. Why? Because I have been part of these groups for a long time, I think, and through this time that I have been working with them, I have been testifying different violent actions and acts of oppression inside of those groups. So I was thinking, and not only me, because I have to tell you that I am not only talking on my behalf, I am also talking on my mate's behalf, which is a group of 3 women. It's me, Naomi, and Jessica, Chess like the game. And we work with Teatro de las Oprimidas, and we were like looking at this situation on which we were asking ourselves, how is it possible that you are working against violence in territory and environment, etc., and you keep on performing oppression acts inside of these groups, such as gender violence, such as power struggles, you know, and it was very confusing for us. We considered it was incoherent, and we thought Teatro de las Oprimidas would be the great opportunity for us to be sharing different strategies to work inside of those groups, to become a little bit, you know, nicer, a little bit more conscious about what you say and what you think and how you act in this type of spaces. And actually, Teatro de las Oprimidas. I don't know. I don't know if you have heard about this before. It is a method created and documented by Barbara Santos and an Italian woman whose last name is Vianucci, Alessandra Vianucci. They documented this method and created like a path. We call it laboratorio. In English, that would be like lab, actually, because the main objective of this laboratorio is to make experiments, like to try to figure out how can we understand the violence and how can we transform the violence using theater. It is like some sort of rehearsal you make for you to transform things you do not like about the reality we have. Yes, there's this video. You are going to be watching what we were doing in this. We had 3 different sessions working with people from different collectives and communities. And we had a lot of work and a lot of different ideas in these 3 sessions. And in this moment, we are still working on some of the products, finishing like the products. Actually, this is like some sort of premiere. Please don't show it anybody else because we have to keep on working on some corrections. But here you will see some of the things that we have done with this group of people.
We are seeing the video now. Yeah, I think you
Okay.
can see it. Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't have sound for you to. I was interested into you looking at the images because something very important about Teatro de las Oprimidas is that it is a different type of theater than the traditional theater one. So we try, or the willing of this type of theater is to give back the power to people to modify the story, to modify what we do not feel comfortable with. And that's when we use the theater for that. I wanted to tell you something about Lucia explained. I think that's something very important about this project, and it has to deal with the questions you just sent us. That you cannot defend the land without working in ourselves, without thinking about if what we think and our actions are fine, if our actions are being violent or not. We think it is very important that we keep that into consideration when we are working in this type of projects, because sometimes it is like, yeah, I am an activist and so on, but it doesn't matter. I keep on being very rude to others. I keep on making harassments to my female mates, you know? So this is something that keeps on happening, and it is very, very confusing because we think, as Margaritis Colectiva, we think that there must be some sort of coherence between what we do and how we work in ourselves for us to keep on being better people in this, not only in this type of spaces, but out of these spaces as well. And I think also this is something very necessary for us to do inside of this type of groups, because, you know, social and environmental fight is always very exhaustive. It's always a lot of things to do. You never rest. And actually, because of that, there is no time for us to reflect on what we are doing and how we are relating to each other inside of these movements. So that's when we came over with this idea, and we are about presenting this video in one place which is called Feria del Agua y Tianguis La Gotita, which is a place on which many organizations gather around to defend the water. So 2 people of this movement, well, 3 I think, were participating into this different sessions of the laboratorio, and we are going to be presenting this video in 2 weeks. in there. So we are very excited about it, and thank you. I think I have already taken a lot of time, so that's it.
Thank you. Okay, so now we are going to pass the mic to Mariel.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation. It is an honor for me to be present in this space and share my experience with you. My name is Mariel Corona Gonzalez. I have a degree in natural resources management from the Marista University of Mérida, Yucatan, and I live actually in the state of Mexico. Well, my project, the idea of carrying out the project in the natural reserve is with the idea of carrying out the project economic activities led by women ejido members in the natural protect area, Espiritu Santo Natural Reserve, arises from the need to create economic activities that can result in opportunities for the benefit of ejido members with the purpose of preventing them from selling their ejido lands with it for real estate, so they can conserve and protect this natural ecosystem. So these pictures are from the ecosystem, and we are working here with the ejidatarios. We are working the land, and here I am with some of the ejidatarios members, the women that are the persons that organize the reserve. And then we change the project one that is called Agrotzingo. So we want here to make agroecological practice, so we can guarantee the full self-sufficiency and the regeneration of local environments. This initiative seeks to empower women from San Luis Ayucan and Santana Quilotzingo, who have historically been excluded from decisions about their food sovereignty, through the recovery of ancestral knowledge and the exchange of good practice that preserve the cultural identity of the region. And also here I am with some of the people that be part of the project in Agrotzingo, and the idea is that we can involve in economics practice, so we can organize more the population in economics opportunities, so they can protect more the food security. And that's all.
Thank you, Miguel. Well, I was wondering if you can just explain a little bit about what is an ejido and ejidatario, because it's something unique in Mexico. So, I mean, maybe people here, they are not quite aware about those words.
Yes. Well, the ejidatarians are the people that own some kind of lands here in Mexico. So they are the owners of this kind of lands, and they have like some interest in each places.
Okay.
I don't know if I explained this correct.
Do you want to add something else? No. Sorry, we interrupt you. Oh no. No, already go. Todo bien, perdón, creo que te interrumpimos entonces.
Yes or no?
No, no sé. Solo te dije.
I can repeat it.
No, está bien, está bien. Bueno, no, sí, como aplaudimos, no sé si te escuché terminar o no, pero creo que ya terminaste.
No, I was explaining that the ejidatarians is a kind of government here in Mexico, and these persons are the owners of the land. So they have different interests of these places. But the thing that happened in the first project that was in the natural reserve is that the ejidatarians didn't want to conserve this ecosystem, and they have a lot of interests that are not in the same way of what in my case have. So that's why I decided to change the project in the one that is called Agroxingo. And in this project, we want to establish a comprehensive space for learning agroecological practices, so we can guarantee the food self-sufficiency and the regeneration of local environments.
Thank you so much. It's really very kind of you all to join us from Mexico and share your projects with us.